Now, okay, let me ask you an important question. Are you a pro or anti mullet guy? Part of that was intentional. Like I knew the viral marketing. I'm familiar with viral marketing, and I knew that that would probably take off. I was like, you know what? If I can just look like Tiger King a little bit,
You guys don't have some kind of like family thing going on.
not that I know of, but I should probably look into that. What's kind of funny about this is a lot of this reporting I actually had like 3 years ago. Um, everything, basically everything except for the David Grush stuff at the end. Red Panda, do you have any new creepy images of Delta airline flights landing at Newark? Go ahead.
No, no, that's still a story, man. It's still a thing. But great episode, and it's cool to have Joel here. But my question was about shoot, I even forgot her name. It's Wyatt, right?
Je-
This girl that you
Jessica.
found. Was there anything else you found? Because it seems like you scrubbed her social medias. Anything interesting you found about her or her connection to these people? How long they've been connected that didn't make it into the video?
No. So, as I pointed out in the video, one of my discoveries that started to link things together was I noticed on her Facebook, Jay Stratton and Eric Davis and John Robert. No, she's linked to John Robert on LinkedIn, but I noticed all the
Do you know where
same.
the furniture section is?
Joel, mute yourself. Okay, so yeah, so I noticed she was linked to all the Skinwalker people and the like OSAP people, and I was like, okay, so this is definitely her. Like everything's kind of like filling in. But before 2008, I don't really see anything. There is a 2006 DoD document that she created. It's publicly available. If you just Google her name and defense, it's like the first link that comes up. And she was working with threat assessments, and there's an arrow that points directly, I guess, from her office to Congress, and they were working in R&D, which is research and development for various threat assessments, whether it be electronic warfare, a whole bunch of stuff is kind of outlined there. But beyond that, I mean, she's not a current. She doesn't seem to be like currently involved, meaning like post 2017 involved. Other than an occasional interaction on social media with the usual suspects. But I did.
No Sarah Gam stuff, like she's a remote viewer on the side or any of that kind of stuff. You found she seems to kind of be more straight and narrow, I guess, compared to the rest of the bunch.
Well, yeah. I mean, Sarah Gam has and had a website where she like offers her services for money and is doing like house cleansings and mediumship and stuff like that. She still to this day, as we speak, attends ghost festivals and takes people for money, ticket buyers on ghost tours where she communicates with spirits live in person. So Sarah Gam does that, but there's no indication that beyond the occasional post that Wyatt is deeply involved with anything current. I mean, she did have the one thing before she shut her Facebook down, before she realized I knew who she was. I took a screen cap of that image. She took an image of what looked like birds in the sky. I mean, it looks like birds flying through the sky, but she says these aren't birds; these are metallic UAP that follow me. And I was like, oh, okay. So she apparently still kind of holds some paranormal beliefs to some degree. But yeah, I was just never able to talk to her.
And this is the girl they were hyping up for years, right? I feel like even on Unidentified, kind of referring to this like female OSAP chick, and I think you even said too, didn't Lou call her like she was on the cover of Vogue or something like that?
Well, no, okay, so yeah, in Lou Elizondo's book, he refers to her as beautiful and lethal, fluent in Russian, and worthy of being on the cover of Vogue magazine. And as I say in my report, she's this outlier because most, if not all, of the participants in this group are men. Like they're all white men, right? And so this woman was like I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like there's this woman involved and what's her story and stuff like that. So that's what made her so interesting to me. Um, but yeah, anyway, so that's apparently her. I also talked to various Skinwalker people, like guards. So Bigelow and then had skinwalker security guards, so people who basically lived at the ranch 24/7 to quote guard the ranch and then go out on nightly investigations at the ranch. And some of them were there the night of the Dino Beaver, right? And in fact, in the book, Kelleher's book, they say that she asked one of them to guard her room because she was so spooked by the porcupine. I mean, Dino Beaver. And oh, by the way, yeah, I talked to Skinwalker guards who were like, she just saw a porcupine. Very messily, like they would just tell me things on the phone that I don't think they should have told me. Like, never forget one time I called Jesse Elizondo's PR and I was like, "Oh, hey, it's Steve Greenstreet. How are things going?" And he's like, "Oh man, today's been rough. Elizondo's wife is super mad that we're not making any money on this." And I'm like, "What? Why are you saying that to a journalist, dude?" Um, it's just you're supposed to be a PR person. Um, and then like anyway, so that's how that situation was. So anyway, I hit him up and I was like, "Yo, you're giving out this IG complaint. Can I get a copy?" And they were initially a little skittish, but he sent it to me. And I'll never forget when I got this document. I mean, it lists Jessica Wyatt, Jay Stratton, who at the time had not gone public. Jay Stratton's in there, a whole bunch. They're just names like everyone. And the big thing is that in this complaint, he's like contradicting himself. Like all of his public statements that he had made up to that point in this complaint, which is signed with his signature, he's like contradicting himself. And I remember I was like, holy shit, holy, oh God, oh God, oh God. And I stayed up till like 3 a.m. I think at some point I got on the phone with Tim McMillan in Germany. And I was like, dude, walk me through this. Like, what the hell am I looking at here? And he was like, yeah. I was like, this is like the Rosetta Stone. It names like everyone. He's like, yeah, right. But I couldn't. Anyway, so that document, that was the start of my kind of 180, as people call it, to becoming a skeptic, like realizing I had been duped. Right. And that was the beginning of it. Anyway, so that was the first time I heard about Jessica Wyatt, but it was just a name. And I didn't know like who she was or the backstory, just that she was involved with OSAP, which was the program that went out to Skinwalker Ranch and investigated spooky stuff, that she was involved with Lakatsky and Jay Stratton. But there wasn't much else on there. But Elizondo put her cell phone number in this document. And so that was, and then what happened is at the end of, I think it was the end of that year, James Lakatsky's Skinwalkers at the Pentagon came out, the book. And in that book, they talk about Juliet Witt, so initials JW. And it matches the way what they're describing about her kind of matches what Elizondo was describing in his IG complaint. I was like, okay. So this is this woman, and that's the Dino Beaver. That's when I find out about the Dino Beaver and the fact that she, well, the book authors claim, Lakatsky, Kelleher, and Knapp claim that like she had poltergeists at her house throwing wine bottles. She was attacked by a monster owl. There were blue orbs in her house. And I was like, oh, okay. So this is new and interesting. And another dead end, right? And one of the things that I'm constantly mystified by, and I bring it up in my Ghostbusters report, is that how does this happen? Like, how do all these people, for years, if not decades, continue to just exist in the government? Some of them with high clearances and high positions. Like, how does this happen? What is, like you said, what's the institutional kind of origin or root of this? And what's the benefit? Like, if what is the return on investment on having someone like that have their proverbial finger on the button? And some people like Kirkpatrick and Marco Rubio are like, we have a this could be a problem. Go ahead, Eric Hecker.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Greenstreet. I did take a look at that, what is it, 26 or 28-minute video that you made, and hats off to you for connecting the dots on these folks. that have been, at the very least, as you exposed, selling the truth back to us. At the very least, as you exposed, selling the truth back to us. But my question would be, in your research, did you come across any other motive or motives for their deception?
Well, not until recently. I mean, I asked Sean Kirkpatrick this, like, what do you think what's the motive behind all this? And he broke it down into three potential possibilities. One, they're true believers, meaning religious, spiritual, true believers, like to their core, and they are motivated by that belief, by that religious kind of belief system. Two, they're crazy, some kind of like mental problem is like happening. And three is like monetary and or like power, whether that be like personal gain or like trying to manipulate something within the government that would give you power or contractual advantage or whatever. So those are the three. But like the fourth one, which was kind of like came via the Wall Street Journal, recently, where it looks like a combination of the three things that I just mentioned were augmented or nudged by intentional disinformation planted and created by the US government. And this is kind of like a Mirage Men type thing. If you've seen the movie or read the book, Mirage Men, which I love, there is the idea that some people are just fantasy prone and they are nudged or pushed in a certain direction from within to kind of go out and muddy the waters on their own. So it's in a way, it's like a way for the government to legally lie. It's like, well, this isn't an official program. We didn't get together in a room and smoke cigarettes and say, how do we fool the people? Right? Like that didn't happen. Like what they did is they just kind of encouraged or nudged people in a certain direction, and then those people go out and muddy the waters all on their own. um that's actually a line from Mirage Men, so I think it's somewhere in there. I can't pinpoint. I think everyone's different. Like I think a Jay Stratton is different than a Lou Elizondo. I think a James Lukatsky is different than, well, maybe not too much different than an Eric Davis, but I think a Tim Gallaudet is different. I think all of these individual cases, but in a lot of these cases, I've been doing this for years. In a lot of these cases, there is something at the heart of the person.
Um, isn't just like couldn't part of this just be the Pentagon and the DoD don't care because it's good for distraction. It's good to sort of, cover up the actual tech that they're working on. Much rather have people talking about spooky things than actually looking into what tech the United States is deploying and working on.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Like, man, like I said, it's like the Mirage Men type thing where you just nudge people in the right direction. Oh, they seem kind of into this. Let's kind of like empower them a little bit to go a little further. They seem into this. Let's nudge them in this direction. And then they just kind of go and muddy the waters themselves. They're loud, they're energetic, right? And they just kind of do this on their own. And there is, what you said is true. There is a sense of apathy from the Pentagon. Like they don't give a shit, because I've pointed this out to them. I'm like, hi, so this is the 33rd leak, military leak to Jeremy Corbell in his many years. Do you give a shit? And it's kind of like, either no response or like a non-response. And I'm like, hi, like some sailors posted a iPhone video of a plane in the water that fell off the deck. You investigated them and punished them within 7 days and then released a press release about it. What are you doing about these dozens of leaks to Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp? And there's just a shrug. Nothing classified is in those videos or images. There's nothing classified per se. And you're right, they could be muddying the waters, and they themselves maybe didn't do it. They just had these nudged true believers that are out there in a UAPTF or otherwise leaking to the UFO celebrities, and they're like, "Oh, cool. Okay, sweet. Yeah, no one's going to find out about our secret stuff because they're looking for aliens."